I freeze in the doorway of Salvatore's, my breath catching in my chest. 14 faces turn toward me, illuminated by the restaurant's warm lighting. Empty plates litter the white tablecloths. Wine glasses half empty. Dessert crumbs scattered across small plates. The celebration clearly winding down. My mother, wearing her favorite crimson blouse, spots me and waves casually. "Oh, Maren, you finally made it." The restaurant hums with ambient chatter around us, but at our table, a sudden silence falls. I check my watch. 7:05 p.m. My pulse quickens as confusion gives way to understanding. "I thought dinner was at 6:30, I say, still standing awkwardly at the edge of their table, clutching my purse. My legs feel wooden, refusing to carry me the rest of the way. Dad dabs his mouth with a cloth napkin. "We moved it up to 5. Didn't Mom tell you?" Mother shrugs. "The diamond anniversary bracelet Dad must have given her tonight catching the light. I mentioned it might change. Besides, we didn't really expect you to make it, honey. You're always so busy." The words hit like ice water. I'd confirmed the time twice today. Once this morning before work, and again at lunch, when Mother called to remind me not to be late. "You never mentioned changing the time," I say quietly, aware of other diners glancing our way. A server approaches with a sympathetic smile but retreats when he reads the tension. Just this morning, I'd rearranged my entire schedule to make it here on time for my parents' 32nd anniversary dinner. Then the Peterson account exploded at 4:15, a shipment misdirected to Tulsa instead of Tampa. As logistics manager, the crisis landed squarely on my shoulders. Still, I'd managed to resolve it and race across town through rush hour traffic. Like always, being responsible, showing up, the story of my life. Bryn, my younger sister, smirks from her seat beside Mother, her third glass of wine, judging by the flush in her cheeks. "Want my picked-over salad and breadsticks? There might be a cold meatball left, too." The table titters. Uncle Ron snorts into his espresso. "Now, Bryn," Mother chides without conviction. Her attention shifts back to me as she reaches into her purse. "But since you're here, your timing is actually perfect." She pulls out a folded paper, the creases crisp and deliberate, extends it toward me like a peace offering. I take it automatically. A receipt. I unfold it slowly, the paper trembling between my fingers. $1,720.43. "We figured you'd be happy to cover it," Mother says with that familiar smile, the one that isn't really asking. "Since you missed the dinner itself." The restaurant suddenly feels too warm, too small. 3 years of paying their mortgage when Dad lost his job, covering Bryn's rent when she found herself after college, the down payment on Dad's new car last spring, the family vacations I fund but somehow never quite make it onto. My hands stop trembling. I look up and meet 14 pairs of expectant eyes. Family tradition. Maren pays. Maren provides. Maren never complains. Deliberately, I tear the receipt in half. Then, quarters. Then, eighths. The pieces flutter onto the table like confetti. Bryn laughs nervously. "Looks like our VIP sponsor's having a moment." The table erupts in awkward laughter. Cousin Paige whispers something to Aunt Louise. Dad's face darkens with anger. "Maren," he starts, his voice carrying that warning tone I've heard since childhood. But something has shifted inside me, something fundamental and irreversible. I've spent years trying to buy their love, their approval, their inclusion. And here I stand excluded anyway, useful only for my wallet. I turn without a word and walk out of Salvatore's. My steps quicken as I push through the heavy doors. Behind me, the laughter dies into stunned silence. For the first time in my adult life, I don't look back. 20 minutes later, I slam my apartment door hard enough that the framed logistics certification on the wall rattles. My hands still tremble with adrenaline as I drop my purse on the entry table, kick off my sensible heels, and slump against the wall. The restaurant scene plays on repeat in my mind, 14 faces staring expectantly at me, waiting for me to fulfill my usual role. Maren the provider, Maren the checkbook. The thought propels me toward my home office. I need evidence. I need to see the pattern laid bare. In the bottom drawer of my filing cabinet sits a manila folder labeled Family Assistance. The crisp organization inside receipts neatly filed by date, bank statements highlighted in yellow. Canceled checks in chronological order reflects the logistics manager in me. As I spread the documents across my desk, the full scope of my financial entanglement with my family unfolds before me. 3 years of mortgage payments when Dad lost his job at the architectural firm. Bryn's rent for that overpriced downtown apartment while she found herself post-college. Dad's new Buick last spring. Mom's dental work. Christmas gifts for everyone. Birthday presents. Emergency home repairs. I grab a legal pad and start tallying. The numbers climb steadily, each addition making my stomach clench tighter. When I reach the final sum, I physically recoil from the page. $47,382.17. Nearly $50,000 in 3 years. The realization hits me with physical force. I rush to the bathroom and barely make it before my lunch resurfaces. Kneeling on the cold tile floor, I wipe my mouth with the back of my hand and try to steady my breathing. This wasn't just about dinner. This wasn't a one-time slight. This was calculated. Systematic, intentional. Back at my desk, I sort through more statements. A peculiar charge from last February catches my eye: a vacation package to Scottsdale, 4 airline tickets, 4 nights at a resort, golf fees, spa treatments. I have no memory of this trip because I wasn't invited. I paid for a family vacation I wasn't even told about. The betrayal is so profound it makes me lightheaded. I sink into my chair, the room spinning slightly. All these years, I thought I was helping, supporting, being the responsible daughter, the good sister, the family rock. But they never saw me as family at all, just an ATM with legs. My fingers move mechanically through digital statements now. I pull up my retirement account. The balance sits at $18,452, pathetically low for someone my age, because I've been diverting funds to family emergencies. My savings account shows a similar story. The personal vacation to Quebec I'd been planning for 3 years? Cancelled last summer when Bryn needed money for car repairs. "Your sister really needs this, Maren," Mom had said. "You can always go next year." Next year never seems to arrive for me. The stark financial reality lays out the consequences in black and white. If I continue this pattern, I'll work until I'm 80. No home of my own. No retirement security. No life beyond funding theirs. My phone buzzes on the desk, a text from Mom. "You embarrassed us tonight. Call me when you're ready to apologize." Something crystallizes inside me. A hardening. A shift so fundamental I can almost hear it click into place. I power up my laptop and log into my online banking. First, I cancel all automatic transfers to my parents' accounts. Next, I remove Bryn as an authorized user on my backup credit card. Then I create a new spreadsheet titled Financial Independence Plan and outline aggressive savings goals for the next 6 months. My phone buzzes again. "Dad, this time. Your mother is very upset. This is no way to treat family." Family. The word now feels hollow, stripped of meaning. Without hesitation, I block his number. Then Mom's. Then Bryn's. One by one, I block every family member who sat at that table tonight, watching me be humiliated, waiting for me to pay their bill. The apartment falls into complete silence. No more buzzing, no more demands. The quiet wraps around me, not comforting exactly, but definitive. Final. As I sit alone in my suddenly quiet apartment that night, I wonder if cutting off my family completely is the right approach. Would maintaining some boundaries while keeping minimal contact be wiser than total separation? Or was a clean break the only way to truly heal? The question hangs in the air unanswered, but for the first time in years, the decision is mine alone to make. 2 weeks later, Ava Middleton's number flashes on my phone screen for the 3rd time this week. We haven't spoken since high school graduation 15 years ago, but suddenly she's determined to reconnect. I let it ring through to voicemail and continue organizing the stack of bills on my kitchen table. "Maren, it's Ava again." Her voice fills my apartment as the message plays automatically. "Your mom asked me to check on you. Everyone's worried about your situation. Call me back, okay?" My situation. Right. I delete the message and add Ava to my blocked list, the 12th name this month. 2 weeks after walking out of Salvatore's, the family storytelling machine is working overtime. According to my cousin's wife's Facebook post, "I'm having a nervous breakdown from work stress. Uncle Ron told his golf buddies I'm struggling with female problems. Mom's bridge club heard I'm going through a phase." Never once mentioning the $47,000 I've given them over 3 years. The doorbell rings. I freeze, holding my breath. Through the peephole, I spot Mrs. Henshaw from 4B, not another family ambush. I exhale slowly and open the door. Mail mix-up again, she says, handing me an envelope. This one's yours. I thank her and retreat back inside, turning the envelope over in my hands. The Chase Bank logo stares back at me. Another one. I've stopped opening these immediately. The racing heart, the sweaty palms, the tightness in my chest that follows isn't worth it. Last week's letter informed me my credit score had dropped 85 points. The week before, a notification about a credit limit decrease on my MasterCard. I've started dreading the mail, jumping when my phone rings, avoiding my email. I slide the envelope into a growing pile on my counter and turn back to my laptop. The spreadsheet I've been building glows on the screen, a meticulous record of every dollar I've given my family. Column A, date. Column B, amount. Column C, supposed purpose. Column D, actual use, when I could verify it. Column E, whether I was thanked. Column E is mostly empty. The largest single entry stares back at me. $8,700 for Dad's emergency dental work that somehow coincided with the delivery of his new golf clubs. Below it, 22 separate entries for Bryn's rent, until she gets back on her feet. She's been getting back on her feet for 3 years now. My phone buzzes with a calendar reminder. Family Labor Day picnic, 2 weeks. The annual gathering where attendance is mandatory, and bringing an expensive dish is expected. Last year I contributed a honey-baked ham, 3 side dishes, and 2 desserts. Bryn brought paper plates and took home all the leftovers. I delete the reminder with a sharp tap. A knock at my door makes me jump again. This time I don't check the peephole a mistake. I swing it open, ready to snap at Mrs. Henshaw. Instead, Theo Ramsey stands there, holding a paper bag from Antonio's and a book tucked under his arm. Bad time? He asks, taking in my expression. Theo and I met in college. He's now a corporate attorney with a corner office downtown, but still drives the same beat-up Volvo and wears faded concert t-shirts on weekends. We've maintained our friendship through career changes and his divorce 3 years ago. Sorry. I step back. Thought you were someone else. Your sister? He knows the situation, the only person I've told the full story to. Could have been any of them at this point. I motion him inside. What's all this? He sets the bag on my counter, careful to avoid the pile of unopened mail. That legal thriller you mentioned wanting to read. He places the book beside the bag. And takeout from Antonio's cried. Sometimes silence is better with company. For the first time in weeks, I feel the corners of my mouth lift into something resembling a smile. We eat pasta at my kitchen table, carefully avoiding the topic of my family while Theo tells me about his latest case. He doesn't ask why half my mail is unopened, or why my phone keeps buzzing with calls I refuse to answer. The quiet acceptance in his presence loosens something tight in my chest. Later, as we're finishing the tiramisu, I actually laugh at his story about a witness who showed up to court in pajama pants. The sound surprises me, rusty and unfamiliar. 3 months pass this way. I decline 4 family invitations, block 17 more phone numbers, and fill my spreadsheet with 3 more years of financial data I've meticulously reconstructed. Then, on a Tuesday morning in October, my phone rings with an unfamiliar number. I almost send it to voicemail, but the area code matches Chase Bank's customer service line. Miss Beckett? A woman's voice asks when I answer. This is Diane Reynolds from Chase Bank's fraud department. Do you have a moment to discuss some potentially unauthorized activity on your account? My stomach drops. What account? The Chase Sapphire Reserve card opened in your name 6 months ago. We're seeing some concerning patterns with the most recent charges and wanted to verify. I don't have a Chase Sapphire card, I interrupt, my voice surprisingly steady. A pause. According to our records, a card was opened in your name with your social security number on the 20th last month. The current balance is $18,900. The room seems to tilt slightly, but instead of panic, a strange calm settles over me. That's identity theft, I say quietly. I never authorized that card. As Diane details the investigation process, I open my laptop and search my email. Nothing from Chase about a new card. I ask where statements have been sent. The paperless billing is directed to an email address bj.beckett94@gmail.com. Bryn Jean Beckett, born in 1994. And the mailing address? She reads my parents' address. When the call ends, I sit motionless at my kitchen table. The realization crystallizes. This was never about money. It was about respect, about autonomy, about whether I had the right to say no. I call Theo immediately. I need your help, I tell him when he answers. No preamble, no apology for calling during work hours. What's happened? His voice shifts instantly from casual to professional. I explain the situation in clear, concise sentences, my voice growing stronger with each detail. When I finish, he doesn't question whether I might be overreacting or suggest I talk to my family first, unlike what my family would have done. I'll be there in 30 minutes with the paperwork, he says. This is identity theft, Maren. It's a federal crime. For the next week, Theo and I compile evidence. The credit card application linked to Bryn's email, shipping addresses for purchases sent to my parents' house. The suspicious timing the card opened 2 days after I walked out of Salvatore's Primes. The Chase Fraud Department flags patterns that match known family fraud cases. Same billing address as the victim's relatives, gradual spending increases, luxury purchases mixed with everyday items to avoid triggering alerts. By Friday, we have everything we need, a comprehensive file documenting each fraudulent charge, copies of the credit application, and a draft police report ready to file. I close my laptop and look at Theo. I'm ready. For the first time in months, I get in my car and enter my parents' address into the GPS. As I drive across town, my hands steady on the wheel, I realize I'm no longer afraid of what comes next. They wanted access to my money without limits. Instead, they're about to learn about consequences. 30 minutes later, my knuckles turn white around the steering wheel as I pull into my parents' driveway. The familiar red brick colonial looks smaller somehow. Weeks of distance has changed my perspective on more than just the house. Beside me, Theo arranges the paperwork in a leather portfolio. Remember, stay calm and stick to facts. They'll try to make this emotional. I nod, swallowing hard against the tightness in my throat. The manila folder on my lap contains printouts from Chase's fraud department, account statements, transaction records, and the smoking gun, a credit application with my forged signature. My heart pounds against my ribs, but my hands have stopped shaking. The front door opens before we reach the porch. Mother stands in the doorway, arms crossed over her floral blouse. Her forced smile falters when she notices Theo. Maren, honey, we weren't expecting visitors. Her eyes dart between us. Who's your friend? This is Theo Ramsey. He's an attorney. I keep my voice level. We need to talk, all of us. Dad appears behind her, wiping his hands on a dish towel. About what, exactly? Identity theft and credit card fraud. Their expressions shift in tandem, surprise, confusion, then practiced innocence. Dad ushers us into the living room where Bryn sprawls on the sofa, scrolling through her phone. She glances up, rolling her eyes when she sees me. The prodigal daughter returns, she mutters. I sit across from them, placing the folder on the coffee table. Theo remains standing, his presence a silent fortress at my back. Last month, someone opened a credit card in my name. I slide the account statements toward them. The card was sent to this address and linked to Bryn's email. It currently has an unpaid balance of $18,900. Mother laughs nervously. There must be some mistake. No mistake. I open the folder wider, revealing the transaction history. Opened 2 days after the dinner incident. She flushes red, eyes darting to our parents. Dad leans forward to examine the documents, his confident smile fading as he flips through the pages. You never used to worry about money, he says finally. What happened to family helping family? This isn't help. It's theft. Mother reaches for my hand. I pull back before she can touch me. Sweetie, we thought you wouldn't mind, she whispers. After that scene at Salvatore's, we figured you needed time to cool off, and we did need a few things. $18,000 worth of things? My voice rises despite my best efforts. Dad's face hardens. You have a good job. You can handle it. Maybe this will teach you not to walk out on family. The admission hangs in the air between us. I reach slowly into my pocket, stop the recording app on my phone, and place it on the table. Dad's eyes widen as understanding dawns. You just admitted to knowingly committing fraud. Theo speaks for the first time, his tone professionally detached. That's a federal crime with potential prison time. Bryn launches to her feet. You can't be serious. We're family. Family doesn't steal from each other, I say quietly. Silence stretches between us, taut as a wire. When my father essentially admitted to identity theft, I had to decide whether to give them one last chance to make things right or proceed immediately with legal action. Family ties run deep, but so does this betrayal. What would be your next move in this moment? The question hangs in my mind as I watch their faces. Mother's pleading eyes, Dad's clenched jaw, Bryn's panicked expression. 3 people who share my blood but treat me like an ATM. Here's what happens next, I tell them, my voice steady. Theo has prepared a formal demand letter. He removes a document from his portfolio and places it beside the credit statements. This letter requires full repayment of the fraudulent charges within 45 days, he explains. It outlines the potential criminal charges for identity theft and the civil lawsuit for damages we're prepared to file if payment isn't received. Mother gasps, "You would sue your own parents? You would steal from your own daughter?" I counter. Dad snatches the letter, scanning it with growing alarm. "This is ridiculous. We can't come up with this kind of money in 45 days. You came up with ways to spend it in less time than that." The facade crumbles completely then. Mother begins to cry, mascara tracking down her cheeks. Dad's face flushes dark red. "We're your family," he growls. "You don't threaten family." "And you don't rob family," I reply, standing. 45 days. Over the next week, the messages pour in. Voicemails from Mother, alternating between tearful pleas and cutting accusations. Text messages from Bryn claiming I'm destroying their lives. Dad sends a single email with the subject line, "You'll regret this." Uncle Ron calls to tell me I'm breaking my mother's heart. Cousin Paige suggests I need therapy for my obvious issues with family loyalty, each message more desperate than the last. A week later, Mother's latest text glows on my phone screen. "You're ruining this family over a little money. Is that really what you want your legacy to be?" I show it to Theo over coffee at my kitchen table. 38 days remain until the deadline. "They're panicking," he says. "That's good. It means they know you're serious." I stare out the window at the spring rain pattering against the glass. "Do you think they'll actually pay?" He considers this, stirring his coffee thoughtfully. "They will if they believe the alternative is worse." I nod, feeling strangely hollow. The anger that carried me through that confrontation has ebbed, leaving behind a cold clarity. This isn't about money anymore. It never was. "What if they don't?" I ask. "Then we follow through," Theo says simply. "And you finally stop being the family credit union." The rain beats harder against the window, washing everything clean. A month later, while I am still waiting for my family to return money, Mother appears in the doorway of my office like an apparition. Her crimson blouse, the same one from that anniversary dinner 3 months ago, stands out against the beige walls of Marshall Logistics. My coworkers glance up with curious expressions as she makes her way toward my desk, her eyes already glistening with strategic tears. "Maren?" She whispers loud enough for nearby colleagues to hear. "We need to talk, honey." I continue typing my email, fingers steady on the keyboard. "I'm working, Mother." She clutches her purse against her chest, the diamond anniversary bracelet catching the fluorescent light. "It's about family loyalty," she says, voice trembling. "Your grandparents would be rolling in their graves if they knew what you're doing to us." The familiar guilt tactic slides off me like rain on waxed canvas. I save my document, lock my computer screen, and stand. "Let's talk outside." In the parking lot, away from prying eyes, Mother shifts tactics. Her tears vanish, replaced by cold calculation. "I've already told Aunt Louise about your breakdown," she announces. "By next week, everyone in the family will know you're destroying us financially. Is that what you want? To be the villain at every gathering for the rest of your life?" I unlock my car, retrieve a manila folder, and hand it to her. "Open it." Inside lies the draft police report Theo prepared, complete with transaction records, account numbers, and sworn statements from the fraud department at Chase. Every detail of the credit card they opened in my name documented in black and white. I'm not the one who committed a federal crime. I say, my voice steady as a surgeon's hand. "You have 72 hours left before this becomes official." The clock started ticking the moment you walked into my workplace. Mother's face drains of color. "You wouldn't dare." "I already did." I take the folder back. 3 days, Mother. That's all you have left." She opens her mouth, closes it, then hurries to her car without another word. For the next 3 days, I check my accounts hourly. Dad calls 17 times. I send each one to voicemail. Bryn texts accusations about loyalty and family responsibility. I read them without responding. On day 43 of our 45-day deadline, the notification appears on my phone while I'm eating lunch at my desk. A Venmo transfer from Richard Beckett, $18,900. The message field contains 4 words. This should end it. Not an apology, not an acknowledgement, a dismissal. My phone immediately lights up with texts from Bryn. Thanks a lot. Dad had to cash out his retirement account early. You happy now? I can't even qualify for a car loan because of your little temper tantrum. Hope you enjoy your blood money. I set down my sandwich and open my laptop. With calm, deliberate keystrokes, I log into my Chase account and pay off the fraudulent card in full. Then I call the customer service line and request the account be permanently closed. I'd also like documentation that this was reported as fraud. I tell the representative, and confirmation that it won't appear on my credit report. When that's complete, I draft a single email addressed to Mother, Dad, and Bryn. I have paid the fraudulent debt in full and closed the account. I have also prepared legal documentation of your actions, which has been placed in secure storage with my attorney. This documentation will remain private unless you attempt to contact me again or open any accounts in my name. Our business is concluded. I sign it simply, Maren. Then I block their email addresses, one by one. 2 weeks pass in blessed silence. Through mutual friends, I hear rumors that Bryn has taken 2 part-time jobs at the mall. Dad has started fishing again, something he claimed he couldn't afford when asking for money last summer. Mother tells relatives I'm having emotional problems and have abandoned the family during a difficult time. Let them talk. The truth sits in my bank account, in my credit report, in the stack of documents Theo helped me prepare. The elegant cream envelope arrives in Tuesday's mail. I recognize Cousin Paige's handwriting immediately, the sloping letters formed in careful calligraphy. Inside, gold-embossed lettering announces her wedding next month at Lakeside Gardens. The entire family will be there. I hold the invitation to the light, feeling its weight, its expectation. The RSVP card waits for my decision. The old Maren would have marked attending without hesitation, would have bought an expensive gift, would have stood awkwardly in the corner while everyone whispered about her. I set the invitation on my kitchen counter and pour a glass of wine. The choice before me feels monumental yet surprisingly easy. For the first time in my life, I understand that some invitations are better left unanswered. The RSVP card sits untouched as evening falls, bathed in golden light from my kitchen window, a relic from a life I no longer recognize as mine. My apartment feels different now. Sunlight streams through windows no longer hidden behind heavy burgundy drapes, but framed with light linen curtains that billow gently in the spring breeze. 6 months have passed since I walked out of Salvatore's ass, and the world hasn't ended. Quite the opposite. I check my bank statement, a ritual that once filled me with dread. The numbers align now, predictable and comforting. My savings account shows a healthy balance enough for a down payment on a small home if I wanted. The Montreal trip brochure sits on my coffee table, no longer a fantasy but a scheduled reality for next month. First-time homebuyers often overlook property tax implications. I tell Zoe, a young accountant I've been mentoring. We sit in a coffee shop downtown, her notebook filled with questions about financial boundaries. Learning to say no saved my retirement fund. It might save your sanity too. She nods, scribbling frantically. But what if they make you feel guilty? That feeling belongs to them, not you, I answer, surprised by how easily the words come now. Later that evening, at Harold and Jean's dinner party, someone brings up my parents. Weren't their anniversaries always at Salvatore's? Are you invited at the celebration this year? The table goes quiet. These friends know something changed, but not the details. 6 months ago, this question would have sent me spiraling, searching for an acceptable lie. We have different views on family obligations. I say simply, buttering a dinner roll. The seared scallops are excellent tonight, Jean. No trembling hands, no racing heart, just a fact, stated without shame or guilt. Conversations swirl around me, and I participate fully, present in a way I never could be when constantly calculating what my family might need next. The following Saturday, Theo arrives carrying a bottle of sparkling cider. Lisa and Devon, friends who stood by me through everything, bring homemade pasta and chocolate cake. My small dining table feels just right for the 4 of us. To chosen family, Theo raises his glass, his eyes meeting mine briefly. And healthy boundaries, Lisa adds with a knowing smile. We clink glasses and eat until our sides ache, from laughing at Devon's workplace stories. Nobody asks for money. Nobody makes me feel small. The evening ends without a single moment of anxiety. That evening, I pull up the application for the Senior Operations Director position at work. The job description feels like it was written for me. I complete the form methodically, attaching my updated resume. After submitting it, I browse listings for starter homes in neighborhoods I've always admired. My phone chimes with an email notification from my mother. The subject line reads, "Family responsibility, please read." I hover my finger over it for a moment, remembering the weight of those words. Then I delete it without opening it. No anger. No guilt. Just a quiet certainty. As I close my laptop that evening, I wonder if there's ever a point where family reconciliation becomes possible after such a fundamental breach of trust. Or if some relationships are healthier when viewed through the rearview mirror. What would you do? Attempt reconciliation someday, or keep driving forward without looking back?